know, today we have to function in a world that moves at double the pace of our fathers and 10 times faster than our grandfathers. And time has a way of just slipping away from us. To succeed in this fast-paced world and find time to enjoy the reality around us, a man's got to approach business and pleasure in the most efficient way, a way that saves that precious time. Many of us have found that one of the best ways to do that is with the help of an airplane, both in our business and private lives. For the general aviation pilot whose concern is overall design, construction, and sheer pleasure of flying, there is no finer single-engine airplane than the Beechcraft Bonanza. Why do we call the Beechcraft Bonanza the people machine? It's been over 30 years since Walter Beech's ingenious design first climbed off the runway. The people at Beech Aircraft have been refining it year in, year out to make it a balanced kind of airplane, one designed to take blue ribbons in any category. It's the high-quality development of the Bonanza in all areas of its design which generates the nickname the people machine. First, the Bonanza is a pilot machine. But in addition, it's a passenger's machine, a businessman's machine, and sometimes a family machine. There are 3 models in the Bonanza family, one designed to suit the particular needs of nearly every single-engine pilot. The V-35B is today's version of the traditional V-tail Bonanza, the best-known single-engine aircraft ever made. The model F-33A Bonanza gives true Bonanza performance with a conventional vertical stabilizer. The longer version of the Bonanza, the model A-36, carries a larger load and cruises at nearly the same speed as the V-35B. There are a variety of excellent reasons why the Bonanza is designed to please pilots. Take, for example, a cruise speed of 198 miles per hour at 6,000 feet for the V-35B and F-33A, and 193 miles per hour for the A-36. That turns an 800-mile journey into a trip of just over 4 hours. That's Seattle to Las Vegas rapid transit. Or leave Denver after breakfast and be in Chicago in time for lunch, then on to New York for dinner. The precision pilot will enjoy the ability of the Bonanza to respond to ATC directions even at high altitude. The Bonanza has a sea level rate of climb over 1,000 feet per minute and a service ceiling over 1,000 feet higher than the nearest competition. That's over 2,000 feet higher for the V-35B and F-33A. This kind of flight performance is apparent in all aspects of Bonanza operation, including shorter ground rolls on takeoff. This means excellent short field characteristics to get you in and out of small, unimproved strips. Lower stall speeds add to this capability. Only 59 miles per hour with gear down, flaps down, and power off for the V-35B and F-33A, and 60 miles per hour for the A-36. Gear extension and retraction speeds are representative of the absolute structural integrity inherent in Bonanza design and construction. The gear on the Bonanza may be operated at 175 miles per hour. Slotted flaps extend back as well as down to improve landing performance. The argument for the Bonanza's superior structural integrity is reinforced by maximum flap extension speeds of 140 miles per hour in maneuvering speeds, of 152 miles per hour for the B-35B and F-33A, and 160 miles per hour for the A-36. What makes the Bonanza such a tough bird? It's more of the people machine concept. People, not automated assembly lines, build Beechcraft Bonanzas. Recently, the 10,000th V-tail Bonanza was produced in Beech's Wichita plant. Its construction, like that of its 9,999 predecessors, meticulous, concerned, careful. The people that build Beechcraft Bonanzas are dedicated to hand-building the most reliable airplanes you can buy. Many of these people have been with Beech 20 or 30 years, and some over 40 years. At Beech Aircraft Corporation, we believe that kind of loyalty is necessary for the construction of airplanes which carry the name Beechcraft. When you're flying up high next to the sunlight, your life depends on the men and women who built your airplane. Every Beechcrafter knows that and is dedicated to putting you at the controls of the finest airplane they possibly can, and they do. Take Bob Butenbach. He or another Beechcrafter just like him thoroughly tests every Beechcraft made before it's delivered. He'll tell you about Bonanzas and Beechcraft. In fact, once he gets started, it's hard to get him stopped.
I learned to fly out in Nebraska in a small community when I was just a kid. But I guess I really learned to fly in the Navy Air Corps. When I got out, I came to Wichita, looking for work. Talking to different people, they kept telling me to go over to Beech, and they kept referring to it as the Beech family. It was never the Beech factory, just the Beech family. Well, it didn't take me long to find out what they meant after I had started working at Beech. I became one of the Beech family. We work together, and we play together. And the one thing we all have in common, regardless of our backgrounds, is that we know that we're building the finest quality airplanes in the world. When we get a brand new airplane here in the flight hangar, like D-10,000, it's a culmination of thousands of small steps. From the moment a customer places his order, from the time that first stitch is sewn, or the first rivet is driven. Up to this point, the airplane has gone through thousands of inspections. When the flight test group gets the airplane, we fly it for as many flights as necessary to make certain that it's in tip-top condition. And when we finish with the airplane, it goes into the east end, what we call cleanup. Now, with all of the inspections the airplane's had up to this point, when these guys get the airplane, they run still another complete inspection. And when they're finished with it, then we put still another flight on it. Only then do we turn it over to the customer. There's just no other company in the world that can top Beech Aircraft when it comes to taking pride in your work and turning out the best possible product into the field.
It's not surprising with that kind of background that over 75% of all Bonanzas ever built are still licensed to fly. Nor is it surprising that little things are important to Beechcrafters, like flush riveting and smooth skin joints to clean the airplane up just a little bit more. It's not something we have to do. It's something we want to do, to make Bonanza the best single-engine airplane you can buy. Bonanza is a passenger machine as well as a pilot machine, with a truly spacious cabin wide enough to provide elbow room and long enough to provide leg room to spare. Fully reclining seats let the passengers lay back and relax, while overhead lights for reading and fresh air inlets for each seat are standard. Optional air conditioning is available to counteract the sweltering effects of hot summer days. The artistically designed console incorporates automotive-type air vents, which may be directed toward any part of the cabin for optimum passenger comfort. An automatic scupper is lowered into position when the air conditioner is activated. The scupper is faired into the fuselage to achieve a minimum drag design. It's apparent that the Bonanza is a superb machine for businessmen. Take the A36, for example. With the back four seats easily removed, 70 cubic feet of space open up for a cargo hauling capacity up to 600 pounds. With the club seating option, seats may be used facing forward or in the club seating configuration. This provides the businessman with a uniquely mobile office, complete with fold-down table for planning sessions on the way to out-of-town meetings. Whatever the business, when time is an important consideration and distance a necessary impediment to be reckoned with, the Beechcraft Bonanza can put people in the right place at the right time. Whether your business is planning a resort on a Florida key or building a freeway to meet the expanded needs of drivers somewhere in the Midwest, you can put your key people on the scene when decisions are required. Wherever you need to be, whenever you need to be there, your high-performance business machine will do the job. Whether the airport is a small grass strip or a major transportation hub. Go where you want to go, when you want to go, without regard to airline schedule or lost baggage when you arrive. For the businessman, the Bonanza is an incredibly significant asset. And the Bonanza is a wise investment, too. While the initial purchase price of the Bonanza may be slightly more than that of the nearest competitor, later, Bonanzas will return a greater portion of your original investment than the competition. In the race against time, the Bonanza can be an intrepid ally. It's great for business and pleasure. When you own a Bonanza and a growing business, you'll suddenly find that a few hours or one day of free time gained with your Bonanza can take on new dimensions. You may find that a day on the ski slopes 200 or 300 miles away breathes some freshness into your next day's work. That's good for business, and for you, and your family. Out in the morning, home by sunset. The Beechcraft Bonanza makes time your servant, not your master. At the Beechcraft Customer Selection Center, you can choose the colors, interiors, avionics, and other special features of your Bonanza to suit your individual taste. They're custom made just for you, because we believe the relationship between a Beechcraft and its owner is a very special thing. If you don't believe that, just listen to what a few Beechcraft owners have to say about their Bonanzas.
Well, I like the visibility, frankly, that I didn't have in the high-wing aircraft. That was the first thing that intrigued me. And when I flew it, why, there was no doubt in my mind that it was the visibility was the first thing. Then I started looking at the quality aspect of it, the story that I'd heard for quite some time, And I'm in the construction business myself and take a lot of pride in the products that we build, and the quality is our pitch. And I frankly was wondering if it was just a pitch, if it was a fact. And I found that it was so. I was about to go into a partnership on a brand new when one day a man asked me if I wanted to go for a ride with him in his Bonanza. And the first time I got in a Bonanza and we flew for about an hour, it just seemed like the whole world opened up to me because visibility was so much better. I had never ever flown in a low winger before. And it was just like coming out of the clouds into the sunlight because I could just really see. And I said, boy, this is the airplane for me. And after I had that experience, why I started looking around for a used Bonanza.
Well, I looked at practically everything else that was available under $100,000. I was particularly impressed, and always have been, by what, at least to me, the name Beechcraft stands for, and it's always been quality. And I think the thing that sold me more than anything else was the quality of service and consideration that I found at Beechcraft West particularly. I like the quality approach of everything. There's not a lot of, say, compared to the products that I'm mostly familiar with, having most of my time in them, a lot of what I call chintzy materials, little plastics and some of the paper, not mache, but paper kind of stuff. And when you pay $70,000, $80,000, $90,000 for an airplane, there shouldn't be a spot of paper in that whole thing, I don't think. And the dashboard, when you use a typical example, you slap your hand on the top of a dashboard and that whole thing vibrates and rattles. It's just like a shoebox, whereas the Beech Bonanza, it's put there and you can pound it till you're blue in the face and that thing's going to stay there, and no vibration, it's just quality. The whole thing is like that. I'm just very much impressed by the quality of the Beechcraft organization. Everybody in this whole organization I've ever been exposed to is very conscious of that, I think. They don't really say it, but they project it. It's just around them. It's the aura or whatever. And I'm sold on it.
I moved from a 7-year-old to a 20-year-old Bonanza, and the difference was unbelievable. We took, well, it was actually an E model, a little bit younger, that we took to Montana once. And flying that compared to the low wing loading airplanes is just unbelievable in turbulence and everything. So that's when I decided I really liked them. We quite often have 4 people who want to sit in the back, but the space inside with the extra baggage, even if we take the middle seats and turn them around, is quite a bit more. And I like, when you sit in as a pilot, the wing is 10 inches back, you can see better.
And you'll find that when a Beechcraft leaves a factory, it's not forgotten, because Beechcraft backs every Bonanza with one of the most extensive service and support programs in the aviation industry. That's just one reason why the Beechcraft Bonanza is a very special airplane. When you buy a Beechcraft, you buy more than just an airplane, you buy a membership in the Beechcraft family. And that's a very special membership indeed.